Well, hello people, and welcome back to some more Cities Skylines 2 coverage. Hope you're having a wonderful day. The first of the developer diaries has just dropped, which is incredibly exciting, and the first one is focused on road tools, and there is some very surprising and really cool reveals that have been announced here. So we'll move through the trailer together, and then we'll have a look at the developer diary itself and pick out some more interesting bits of information. So first of all here, in the developer diary, car crashes have been confirmed as part of Cities Skylines 2. That's so cool. I really was not expecting that at all. And in this opening screenshot, just over here on the left on the highway slip ramp, it looks as though there is a car crash there, with some cars actually despawning around it. But what a reveal, right? Car crashes in Cities Skylines 2. We'll have a look at that later on in the video. So yet again, like we saw in the gameplay reveal trailer, we're seeing these really intricate, heavily marked intersections that look totally different to how intersections work in Cities 2. Looks like it's splitting into two separate lanes here with the little grass median in the middle. The tram line seamlessly just cutting across it all. Really cool, right? I'm just really excited to play with those road tools to see how they behave compared to Cities Skylines 1. So here's that shot again where we can see what looks to be the car crash in the sort of top half of the screen there. Super interesting. So at this point here, the developers pull up the water and sewage treatment screen, which reveals a new mechanic of, I guess, resource trade. You can now trade your water and sewage, export them and perhaps import them as well, which begs the question as well, are we going to be seeing other cities play a bigger part in our cities if we're actually dealing with them by trading with them, or is that about as deep as that mechanic gets? But very interesting that we can see water trade and sewage export listed within the water and sewage tabs here. This also piqued my curiosity too. They place a healthcare building in this particular shot, where we can see some pretty standard things. We've got healthcare availability, crematorium, and cemetery availability. But something that really piqued my interest was the number of deaths per month. $2.20 in New Dollarton has 1,819 dying per month for his crematoriums to process, which makes it feel like healthcare is a much more fleshed out mechanic now, and they're not just essentially park buildings anymore. I really hope that's the case, but of course we'll have to wait and see. So at this point in the trailer, they start moving through various different road tools, also showing off the continuous one as well, and a new form of upgrade tool, which we'll also see in the trailer today as well. So we've seen this grid feature before. That's really cool, just for getting those big preset grid spaces down. So this shot here, as it pans over the city, reveals some pretty cool things. This structure over here on the left, with all of the car parking out the front of it, to me, quite clearly appears to be a cemetery, which looks really cool, much better than the CS1 cemeteries. I'm hoping that they're customizable, maybe a little bit modular, so we can dictate their shapes and where those pathways go. Not entirely sure, but happy to see a much bigger, much nicer, realistic looking cemetery building than we had in the first game. And we can also see some tennis courts here as well. Big orange numbers, which are quite nice. Again, I'm a slave for all these bridges that are being shown off. Look how nice this one is here. Really, really cool. I can't wait to build some really nice bridges. And also over in the back left there, that does appear to be the modular hospital, at least from the what appears to be red crosses on it too. We can't see too much on that yet, but I'm guessing we will come the services developer diary. Some really nice intersections here as well from $2, isn't there? So this shot's also really cool and a little bit concerning as well. There appears to be a lack of keys. In all of $2's builds, there's no key fronts here on the left. You can kind of see how the terrain just joins with the water. But we can see a cargo port here, a much bigger and realistic looking cargo port than we had in CS1 with the regular cargo hubs. I'm assuming, again, they're going to kind of come under the more modular format that Cities 2 seems to be taking on, but we'll have to wait and see. But really happy to see actual container yards. That's a massive improvement for the industry side of things. So this bit's cool here. This is where they start talking about roundabouts. It's almost like a mini roundabout builder mod is now integrated into the game engine. They simply just place them into an existing intersection and then they just turn into a roundabout, which is really cool. So we see it here as they drop it over an existing intersection. And then you get this little grass filler with a almost like stone brick sort of median or pavement around the edge of it, isn't it? I'd be interested to see how customizable they are. Can we change out the grass for gravel or sand, for example? And whether or not trees can be placed or any sort of detailing within the middle of the roundabout as well. We're also getting some pretty cool lower street views here as well. We can see the animation of the Sims up close really for the first time. The new style of very Americanized traffic lights as well. Will the traffic lights change when we have those new themes to play with? Because we can quite clearly switch between European and an American theme now. I'm wondering if that will indeed extend to the traffic lights. And also shout out to this guy in a very bright gold suit here as well. A gold suit is a very bold choice, isn't it? But this is interesting. So for the first time, they've kind of opened up this maintenance tab, I guess. So it doesn't appear anymore as though there are grass and tree and regular roads. It seems like it's just a base template plain road. And then from that road, you can choose to add grass to it or trees rather than having the different variations of road now. And they're also showing off the ability to turn on and off traffic lights, add stop signs, and also change the turning arrows so you can say no right turn or no left turn. That turning bit is a new addition for Cities 2 for sure, but I'm hoping that we will get a bit more information and better tools than just those come the Traffic AI Developer Diary, which I think is the next one. Really cool here as well how the sound barrier comes up. It's a much more realistically sized sound barrier as well. The sound barriers in CS1 are kind of like waist height, like it would stop the noise of an ant maybe, but not a proper highway. So much more realistic, nicer looking sound barriers here. And a really good shot of one of the parking lots here as well, isn't it? Again, it's going to be interesting to see if these are configurable in size or if they're just preset ploppables. We'll have to wait and see. So here the lady talking us through the video confirms that the trees blocking sound mechanic will return. So, you know, that detailing isn't only just aesthetic, it does have a little bit of a purpose of blocking noise pollution as well. And over on the left on this shot here as well, looks like we can see our first elevated pathway. That looks like to me, almost looks like it's being used in place of a key, doesn't it? Which is really cool. I'm happy to see some elevated pathways. I want to see more of those, please. So this scene here is really interesting. She comes and grabs this new continuous curve tool. And if you pay very close attention, as she moves across the road with this tool, she actually snaps onto each lane, which is really interesting, isn't it? That we can almost like customize each lane now, but super seamless. And just look how easy it is to add this really realistic looking slip lane on here. Like there's no anarchy collision, nothing saying, you know, you cannot place this here. Just seems so much more seamless and smooth. Really happy with that. There's the final product, but interesting that she snaps to each individual lane rather than the road itself. I thought that was interesting. I wonder what else that's going to bring us. And we see a bridge here as well for the first time, and we can also see some more nicely merged highway lanes coming in together. So all of this looks super neat, really nice, really happy to be seeing this. We get a train station shot here as well with a little bit of oil storage, it looks like. Not sure if this is part of the station or a little bit of prop detailing. There's some little bollards here almost, a little container or shed. Some fencing that we can see for the first time. I hope they're details and not part of a building. I also see some new colourful little pink bushes over there too, it looks so. So I'm desperately trying to pick out some detailing stuff here. And look at this bridge as well, it's so good. How nice is that? Huge sort of natural, sort of like nicely arched bridge coming over the river. Very nice bridge, just can't wait to play with these. So as the lady tells us, anything is indeed possible. So let's have a little scan through the developer diary here, shall we? And pick and choose some very interesting bits of information that have been confirmed. So road tools, of course, are more flexible than its predecessor. That definitely seems to be the case. And there's a little example here of the new grid mode in action that we've seen in sort of 3 separate videos now, haven't we? So that seems to be nice. We can also see the new replace tool is similar to the old upgrade tool, but it allows you to change existing roads more freely and fine-tune the road network by adding grass, trees, wider sidewalks, or sound barriers can all be added to our roads now, which is interesting. And then confirmation of the parallel road tool being embedded into the base game now is very nice, but of course we saw that in the gameplay reveals. So we also get a little bit of information here on the new snapping options. There seems to be a snap to existing geometry. That looks as though it's replaced road guidelines, doesn't it, in the snapping options here? But the road guides include information about elevation angle displaying a numerical value of the slope steepness from the starting point to the road segment to the desired endpoint, which is nice. So a little bit of network multi-tools slope function embedded in there as well, it looks like. So here we get confirmation of that you can build roads across existing roads already. We kind of saw this, didn't we, in the gameplay trailer where $2 just drags the road across and it creates the intersection straight away. So kind of automatically intersection nodes has been confirmed in this diary as well, which is nice. I really like this as well, and we can see what seems to be a good example of this in the screenshots provided. That the road placement options have been expanded to include a cut and fill construction for roads that want to dig through terrain. So it doesn't look like we have to dig out our own terrain channels anymore using the terrain tools, of course. The roads will now just cut through if you choose that cut and fill for construction roads option, which is really interesting. So here we get confirmation of stack roads. It's just so cool. How amazing is that? And you can see an example of it in the screenshot below with the highway having its pillars directly above a suburban road and then it flows through. What a great bit of functionality. You do need quite a few mods in Cities 1 to achieve stacked roads. Really cool feature. Very happy to see that embedded into the game. So here they go on to say that the roads are much more flexible in Cities Skylines 3. I'm pretty sure that's meant to say Cities 2. Let's get hyped about Cities Skylines 2 first, shall we? Before we start looking at the third game. Connecting different sizes of roads together can create interesting intersection options. For example, splitting a small two-way road into entering and exiting highway ramps is now fast and easy. And again, look at this very node-controlled style road here, right? Seamless sort of slip ramp with the appropriate road markings. Just looks so nice. This is so much better than vanilla Cities Skylines road options, it would seem. I'm quite happy with what's been shown off here today. So now we come on to our road types, again into familiar categories for Cities players. You can get small, medium and large roads, and of course highways falling under their own category. Nothing new there. Each category will have multiple different options, from two-way roads to one-ways and also asymmetrical roads making a return as well. In addition to the elevated versions of each road, there are also various bridges and different styles which we've seen, and I will also have seen have been locked behind a pack on DLC, but it's another argument for another day. And there is confirmation that there are no grass or tree-lined versions of the roads, as these, among others, are added using the new Replace tool, which is very exciting, isn't it? I wonder how customizable that's going to be. So roads can be customized by adding bus lanes and tram tracks to them using the additional network building tools. So that's really cool. The public transport roads aren't split out anymore, so that's really good. You know, say for example you didn't have a 6-lane bus lane built into the base game of CS1, you can just take a regular plain 6-lane in CS2 and add bus lines to it or tram lines. So it's really cool how they've taken that. I didn't really think they would go that direction with the new road mechanics. I thought we'd just get lots more road assets, but it's now clear we start with a basic road template and then you build on top of that either with grass, tram lines, trees, bus lines, whatever you want to add to it. We add using the new Replace tool now. And also, for the first time in this screenshot, we have confirmed pedestrian streets are in the base game for Cities Skylines 2. That is amazing. Yes, please, everyone.
Calm down, breathe. I'm trying. I said breathe. I'm trying.
Walkable areas in the city can be created by using the pedestrian street along with the pedestrian path and bridges. Yes, please. So happy about that. I absolutely love plazas and promenades. I was so worried about losing that in CS2, but we will have pedestrian areas. And the pedestrian street prohibits all vehicular traffic, of course. Yep, we know that. Oh, look at this new pedestrian bridge as well. Look at the arch on that, really nice. So happy to see some elevated path action going on in the city here too. That's very exciting for me. And this really nice pedestrian street outside of these houses too. That is a really, really nice touch. And we can also see for the first time in that screenshot as well, some different trees and a hedge. So is that hedge going to kind of function as a fence or is it a prop? Not sure. We'll wait and see, of course. So we also get confirmation here that the game will come with a selection of pre-made intersections. And they actually said in the video diary as well that you can save these templates and move them around the city. Which is really nice, you know, so if you've created one intersection before, you don't have to go recreate it somewhere else. So it's like you can save it as a template and then, I guess, drag and drop it. We'll see exactly how that works. Then we come on to the roundabout section here, which is what we saw in the developer diary, wasn't it? Just like the kind of plop and drag system onto a T-junction. We'll now turn it into a roundabout if you want. It's kind of similar to how Roundabout Builder works. But very exciting. I'm interested to see how customizable those are. Is it always going to be grass? Can we change the colour of the stone around it? We'll have to wait and see. although we do get a confirmation that roundabouts do come in 4 different sizes. So now we come on to a very interesting part of the developer diary. So this is the confirmation that pocket caring is gone and that parking as a mechanic is quite fleshed out. People will park, but if there's cheaper parking elsewhere, they'll prefer to go there and then walk a little bit further. So in addition to traditional roadside parking, you are able to provide citizens with parking lots and parking facilities. Interesting that this is differentiated. Is a parking facility a multi-story? I'm going to assume that that's the sort of thing they're talking about there. When citizens plan their way around the city, their decision making is affected by the availability of parking in a manner similar to public transport options, which is very interesting. So citizens have different preferences regarding time management, comfort levels, and the usage of money. Some want to find a parking spot as close as possible, regardless of the cost. So does that mean we can dictate the cost of parking as well? While others are willing to spend more time walking from a far away but affordable parking spot or public transport spot, which is interesting. And the roads overview will also show the availability of parking in the city, which is very similar to how Traffic Manager's advanced parking AI works. So you can use that information to make a decision. But interesting, and confirmation that parking as a mechanic is a mechanic, it's not just an aesthetic thing. I'd really like to hear that. So now we'll come on to what is for me the most interesting part of this developer diary, which is the road maintenance. So other expanded road building options, including the road maintenance depot, which sends out vehicles to keep roads in good condition, which was about the extent of the road maintenance mechanic in Cities 1. However, this thing goes on to say fight wear and tear and decrease the chances of traffic accidents. Who thought traffic accidents would have been a thing? And confirmation that we also get snowplows during the winter, and there's some really great shots of these vehicles down here as well. Snowplow looking really cool. You can see the cones and the road signs on the back of this like highway maintenance vehicle. Really nicely made assets. So we'll see the roads info view shows data about the condition of the road, colouring them from green meaning good to red to bad. Poor road quality or excessive snow can slow down the traffic and cause jams. Road conditions also affect the chance of traffic accidents occurring, which halt traffic and cause gridlocks until they are secured and cleared, which is what we saw in the beginning of the developer diary, wasn't it? That road was blocked by a little bit of wreckage, quite clearly a car accident, and then the road maintenance takes care of these traffic accidents aftermaths, clearing out the debris and allowing traffic to continue safely. This mechanic is insanely cool, but I can also see this being, well, getting quite out of hand. I think you can essentially possibly kill your entire city if all of your arterials suffer car crashes and you don't keep on top of road maintenance. It's going to be interesting to see how involved we are with this. Is this something that's happening every day and it's a major part of the simulation, or something you're only going to touch on maybe once every 5 hours of gameplay, for example? We'll really have to wait and see how that pans out, but incredibly exciting and massively surprising that traffic accidents are a part of CS2. And then finally we come on to some additional road options, which is you can place and remove traffic lights and crosswalks confirmed. Very nice. Node controller functionality confirmed there. Add stop signs and control turn lanes directing the flow of traffic. Absolutely fantastic, really good information. And then if there's too many pedestrians crossing a busy intersection, remove the crosswalk and build a pedestrian overpass. So yeah, it's pretty similar to what we do in Cities 1. And then they come on to say that road decorations are no longer separate road types, which we've already touched on. They have both visual and mechanical effects, so sound barriers of course will stop noise from high-speed traffic. Wide sidewalks will create more space for pedestrians, but remove roadside parking, exactly how it works in Cities 1. And then trees can be added to the roadsides to control noise pollution in residential areas or just beautify the roadsides. And we can see another little screenshot there of a tree median road on a concrete median this time, just flowing down quite nicely. But otherwise, that's it for the first development diary. Some really interesting things there, some takeaway points for me as to how that new upgrade or replace tool, I believe they called it, seemed to snap to the lanes rather than snapping to just the road itself, which I thought was really interesting. The confirmation of proper road maintenance and car crashes is massive. What a interesting gameplay mechanic and some fun videos I'm sure that's going to make. I really can't wait to see some proper gameplay of that in action. Also, the fact that parking is a proper mechanic as well and not just a visual static thing that they've added in. Really exciting. I like the roundabout builder, it's pretty cool. And the fact you can save intersections and pre-made junctions and use them elsewhere in the city definitely has some intersection marking tool functionality vibes, doesn't it? So really exciting. Let me know what you guys are thinking of the first developer diary. We will continue to cover these just because there's so much exciting news packed into them. I'm actually away on holiday when the next one drops, but we'll certainly cover it in at least some capacity, and then the rest of them going forward. I'll leave up on the screen the schedule for these development diaries so you can keep an eye out for any specific bits of information that you might be interested in. But again, like last time, let's get a little conversation going down below. Is there anything you've seen here that's blown you away and you just can't wait to get involved with? Equally as much, is there anything you've seen here that's really pissed you off? Something you're not happy about at all? Again, let's keep that discussion about Cities Skylines 2 going down below. Can't wait for the next one. Very exciting times. Let's thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.
The roads crisscrossing your city are more than a means of transport. By connecting citizens to their work, families, and communities, they are the veins and arteries of your city's beating heart. Every pathway you carve out shapes the routine every day and opens the door to the extraordinary events that define their lives. City building starts with roads. Roads allow people, goods, and services to move through your city, of course. And in Cities Skylines 2, all roads except for highways automatically carries water, electricity, and sewage lines. It's a shortcut that lets you focus on what you love about city building sooner. You'll construct and refine your road network using road tools. They're easy to learn and flexible, inviting you to follow your creative impulses. Returning players will welcome upgrades to the road tools that introduce several of the most wished-for features. Other features are totally new. Use the road tools to create seamless city blocks in just 3 clicks. In no time, you'll lay long, beautiful stretches of road to link lively residential and industrial districts to your buzzing city center. Just like that, you'll thread traffic along wide, curving streets and elegant, elevated highways. You'll even add bridges and tunnels in only a few clicks. Intersections have been overhauled in Cities Skylines 2. Placement rules are less restrictive, and you can use pre-made intersections on new and existing roads. You can also add roundabouts. Yep, they're here. From gentle suburban roundabouts to roaring multi-lane roundabouts, it's never been easier to engineer uninterrupted streams of traffic. That's because roads will be configured automatically, so vehicles can enter and exit the roundabout safely. Simply drop your preferred roundabout over an existing intersection and ta-da! A whole new way to move people, goods, and services through your city. Decide the direction of traffic and how it flows by placing traffic lights, crosswalks, and directional no-turn traffic signs and stop signs. Erect sound barriers and construct parking lots. That's another new feature in Cities Skyline 2. And for returning players, it means Christmas has come early. You can even add decorative touches if you want to. They don't just make your city pretty, they can be useful too. So those trees you use to line sidewalks? Add charm and reduce noise pollution. Of course, building a city is a process of exploration and experimentation. You'll try stuff out. Some of it you'll like, and some you won't. Want to change an existing road? Use the new Replace tool. It's like the old Upgrade tool, but with more freedom to refine your road network. Change your mind about a road? Bulldoze tool to the rescue. Click, 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 and that road is a thing of the past. Road building is more intuitive and nuanced in Cities Skylines 2, and every pathway has a far-reaching impact. Build your city's roads as a testament to your ambition and a promise to citizens that anything is possible.